a lot of people don't like phone calls. I'm a person who doesn't like phone calls. When I don't know who's calling, I don't answer. But then they see the text and they know that it's me and they'll respond. And when I answer the text, I say, sorry that I missed you. I'd love to catch up. I'm just going to give you a quick call. So I don't really give them an out unless they say, I don't want to, and they don't say that. So, and they don't have to answer when I call, but typically they do.
Welcome back to Good Better Broker as we bring in Kim Mason. She is a mortgage broker with the Mason Group with Summit Lending, and she is based in Poulsbo, Washington. Kim, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So a bit about you, Kim. You've been in the business for 26 years now. You were in the broker channel, went to retail for some time, then you came back to the broker channel about 2 years ago, and things have been going great for you. And Kim, your business is largely about staying in touch with your past clients and the people who are in your sphere. Tell me why that's important to you.
I have built a relationship business working by referral for the entirety of my career. So it's important to me to know what's happening in their lives. I want to stay in touch with them. It brings me joy to know, how are things going with them? That's where my hot spot is, knowing what's happening with them. How are they doing? I like talking to my people.
So when you're talking with them, how do you go about that? How do you show them that you're not just looking for business from them? How do you show them that you genuinely care?
So I'm going to ask them about how's their family, how's the home working out? Of course, that's important, but I want to know more about what's going on in their life and, what their plans are for the future. And that might have to do with their home loan or their home, or it might have to do with something else entirely. Maybe their kids are going off to school, but I want to know how that's going or if they've had a career change. And also, I'm a very local lender. So my business has really been focused in the same community for 26 years. And so most of my clients, well, all of them have been referred to me, and most of them know each other in some, form or fashion. So I like being that local person and feeling like I have a connection and a friendship and that sense of community.
A lot of people in this business want to know when is the right time to reach out to their past clients. And with rates being what they are, it may not seem like the best time to do it, and people are looking for different reasons to reach out. You have a great strategy for this, and that's what we're going to get into in this conversation. Your annual review campaign. It's been very successful for you, Kim. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So starting out when they close, I tag everyone in my CRM as the month that they close. So it doesn't even matter what year. So it goes back years and years. So I have every group, that's tagged that their loan closed in this month. I then put them in a campaign that goes out that's going to tell them, or it's going to drop a voicemail, and then it's going to follow that with a text and then an email. And I want to reach out to them every year at the same time in this month to say happy loan anniversary. And I don't even need to say how many years it's been, but I want to connect with them and have a conversation.
So how does it work? Because there is an outreach plan.
Yep.
And it's very strategic. So I want you to walk me through the communications as far as how you go about reaching out and the different methods that you use.
Yeah. So they're set up in the campaign. And the first Monday of each month is when it starts. And it's going to drop a voicemail for them. It shows up as missed call, voicemail drop, follows it with a text, and then follows it with an email. Now, the ideal outcome is that they immediately call me back. And that's the best because I want to talk to them, voice to voice. Also, though, in the email, I include my Calendly link so that they can schedule an annual review if they'd like to. So even better because then I have more time to prepare. And then the next day, it's if they don't respond, then the next day it's going to do drop another voicemail, follow it with a text. And then on the third day, one more. So there's 12 touches over 33 days. And that keeps going unless they respond. And if they respond to any of those things, then the campaign stops. And but hopefully what it concludes with is us having a conversation.
How did you come up with this? Because that's a lot of touches, but it's also very strategic. So how did you go about figuring out exactly the way that you were going to run this?
Yeah. So I spent my whole career trying to figure out how to really effectively implement an annual review. And it's harder than it sounds because I would say to myself, well, you need to call. Just pick up the phone and call everyone who's closed. Like you have a month. that never happened. Like I would make a few calls and then time would get away and the month would get away. So I asked a lot of questions of friends who I knew were successfully executing annual reviews, and then I swipe and adapt. So Darren, my friend who's the owner of Summit Lending, he had a really good annual review campaign. He shared it with me, and then I swipe and adapt. So I took what he was doing and made it my own, and then implemented it in my CRM.
I want to ask you about the initial call, because you know how it works. In today's day and age, most people like to communicate via text. Some people don't
Yes.
even like emails anymore, and they especially don't like talking on the phone. So I think it's very interesting that that first phone call of yours intentionally goes right to voicemail.
Yep. Yeah. And when they see a missed call, they often will call me right back. They think it's, something important. And so they'll call me right back. And oftentimes if they don't answer the call or they don't call me right back, they'll see the text. So they know that it was from me. And then they'll reply to the text because yes, a lot of people don't like phone calls. I'm a person who doesn't like phone calls. When I don't know who's calling, I don't answer. But then they see the text and they know that it's me and they'll respond. And when I answer the text, I say, sorry that I missed you. I'd love to catch up. I'm just going to give you a quick call. So I don't really give them an out unless they say, I don't want to, and they don't say that. So, and they don't have to answer when I call, but typically they do. And then I don't keep them on the phone. I just ask a couple of key questions and take some notes.
Okay. Speaking of, I want to ask you about your questions, because you're also very tactical about this and how this kind of hopefully helps lead to the opportunity for a loan. So when you get the client on the phone after this campaign, what's the first question you ask them?
I ask them, how's the home? How's it working out for you? And then, are you in your forever home? And that's my favorite question. Are you in your forever home? It opens up a lot of conversations. And what I want to know is, how long do they plan on being in this home? Is it forever? Or did they just find out that they're getting a job transfer? And sometimes, that's the answer. Well, we thought it was going to be, but we're moving. And so that I start with that one. Are you in your forever home? And then I'll go to, have there been any big changes over the last few years? Of course, I'm going to ask how their family is. And then I say, are there any more debts other than mortgage that you'd like to eliminate? And it is surprising sometimes the answers that I get to those questions from people that you're just not expecting. You don't know where people are in their lives. And if they don't know to ask the question, they don't know that I could help them unless I ask these questions, and some surprising things will come up.
Yeah. Listen, these are loaded questions. Let's
Yeah.
make no mistake, because you are trying to peel back the layers of the onion of their entire financial situation and determine if there could be a way for you to help them out.
Yes. Yeah. And so, and I had one woman who I just love. She'd bought a home a year ago. She was close to retirement. We bought very intentional in this sweet little home that didn't need a lot of upkeep, kept her mortgage payment really low so she could retire. And when I call her at a year for her annual review, and I said, are there any, debts other than your mortgage that you might want to eliminate? To my surprise, she said, well, I have an art habit, and I went to an art exhibit and I bought $40,000 worth of art and I financed it. And I was shocked and oh, okay. Well, what's the monthly payment on that? $1,000. That's almost half of what her mortgage payment was. So I said, how's that going to impact your retirement? And she's like, yeah, I can't retire right now. I've got to get that paid off. Really? Well, would you like me to look at a cash out refinance and paying that off and what that would do like overall? And if that could help you stay on track for retirement? Yes, please. I would really like that. So that surprised the heck out of me. And that's why even when I think I know the answer, I don't know the answer. So I should always ask the question. Don't assume.
And other people should do the same exact thing, right? Because even if there's somebody who you may think is financially sound, they, live in a great house, they've got a great picture, I guess, from the outside, but to your point, you never know what else is going on.
Right. I just had a call day before yesterday, and when I and this is a great example of people will call you back. She called me back and she said, we sold the house 6 months ago. And I was like, what? Because I'm usually on top of that, right? And I'm like, what? Really? What happened? Well, we're military and we suddenly got transferred and we weren't expecting it. Where are you now? We're in San Diego. Did you buy a home in San Diego? We did. Well, I was like, if people didn't think, if my clients don't think of me to help them with something like that, a situation like that, that's on me. That's not on them. It's that I didn't let them know ahead of time that I can help you. You know, we have great loan officers in California, and I could have been a resource to them. And so those kind of things motivate me to really stay in touch. And they're still my client. So that's what I let her know is, all right, I'm going to change your address and I'm going to stay in touch and I'm still here to advise you on your mortgage. Is that okay with you? And yes. Yeah.
These calls, a part of the annual review campaign, they also present an opportunity for you to connect with your realtor partners.
Mm-hmm.
How does that part of it work?
Yeah. So as I'm talking with them, I'm taking notes. And my rule of thumb is touch the lead, touch the partner. Most of these clients have been referred to me by realtor partners. And so as soon as I finish that call, I'm calling my partner to give them an update on what I just discussed. And I'll oftentimes email the notes to them as well so that they can save it in their file.
Outstanding. It's really smart. You told me when we were speaking on the phone before the interview that you want your clients to feel good when they're talking to you.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that happens, Kim?
Yeah, I want to affirm their decision to be a homeowner. I mean, it was such a wise financial decision. And I know it can be scary and it's an investment. And I want them, when they see my name and my phone number, come up on their phone, I want them to feel like it's going to be a positive experience. And I want them to know that I am championing them in a world of a lot of negativity, right? I want to be the positive voice for them. And I will always conclude an annual review with, I can see that you've got such and such equity. Usually I have it pulled up and I can see that. And if not, I say, I can see that you've built up a lot of equity. What a wise decision this was. What a great investment you've made. And just affirming their decision to invest in being a homeowner.
We're going to talk more about equity in just a moment. But first, I want to ask you about a call that kind of went sideways, and you know what I'm talking about because, you've been in this business long enough to know that things happen in the mortgage business, right? Obstacles come up, and sometimes people are going to get mad when you have to deliver bad news to them. You were able to diffuse a client who you were on the phone with who was very upset by affirming them. Yes. I want you to walk me through this because I think this is a very, very important point for our listeners.
Okay. So yeah, it was a past client and I had done an annual review and identified that it would be really helpful for them to do a cash out refinance. And so I'd worked up some numbers for them and then there were some miscommunications in the process and he was angry and I didn't know why. I didn't know what had happened. And so I called him back because I got an email from him that was real short, called him back and he was, yelling, he's swearing, he's mad. And I finally said, okay, I'm going to interrupt you. Let me tell you what I know about you. Dustin, here's what I know about you. You are a great father. You are an amazing husband. You are wholly devoted to your family. You are doing everything in your power to provide a great life for them and to make really good, smart financial decisions for your family. And he just went completely silent. And he said, how do you know that about me? And then I told him examples. Well, I heard this conversation in the background, and this is the interaction I saw you have with your kids. And he said, thank you. So I really want to do business with you. I really don't want to talk to all these other lenders that have been calling me ever since my credit was run. I want to stay with you. So let's just talk about how we can make that happen. And that was a great conversation. That was my win for the day. What could have been the worst conversation of the day turned into a win for the day. And I felt like that came from, let me affirm what's good about you, because we all have lots of good about us, but people don't point that out.
Yeah.
you know?
It's such a great story. I mean, the fact that you were able to take a phone call that was, very confrontational and
Mm-hmm.
turn it into a positive simply by, number one, you were listening, you were paying close attention, but then you strategically decided to compliment this gentleman and you were able to change the tone and, more importantly for you, keep that deal. Let's get back to the equity topic for a moment. How do you end up finding out that clients need to tap into their equity? How do you go about that when you're in these conversations?
Yeah, so I have them in HomeBot. I use HomeBot, and that's how I can very quickly look up what their equity position is, and I can see if they've refinanced and maybe not with me, which they're still my client, doesn't matter, but I can see what their equity position is by quickly glancing at HomeBot, and I can reference that as well because they get the email every month, and usually they're looking at it pretty high open rate there. There's one other tool that I use that is Mortgage Coach. I will send a TCA. So if I have, it kind of depends on the client, but if I've got it scheduled, I'll often tee it up ahead and send it to them. And I'll put in their current mortgage information into a TCA and then have them pull that up. And I'll say, is this what your current mortgage looks like? Or have you made any payments on principal? Because I want to know that too. And that's one of the questions in my annual review. Have you made any payments on principal? And so then that's an easy way to ask that. And then I'll update it if they have. And then I'll create another strategy next to it that says if they have a strike rate, if they might want to refinance, or if they're considering a cash out, or if they just want a lower interest rate, and I'll create the refinance strategy next to it. And I'll discuss with them, like, where would you want to be? And then, okay, here's the reality of where rates are right now. So and then we'll kind of come to a middle ground. And then that's their strike rate. So that's when I say, okay, so when the market gets to this, you're telling me that that's when you would want to potentially proceed with a refinance. And then I'm going to watch the market. I have, strike rate campaign set up so that I'll watch them and get in touch with them. But also I say, if you hear somewhere that rates are this target that we're discussing right now, tell me immediately if you hear it, because I want to know, what you're hearing. I don't want you to ask that whoever that is. I want you to talk to me.
That's so smart. And you're holding them to it, right? You're saying, okay, what rate do you need it to be for you to actually want to do this? Or if you hear it and maybe it's true, maybe it's not, at least they're going to reach back out to you and that leads to another conversation. It just seems like this entire annual review campaign is a great way to have more conversations with your past clients to really stay on top of your database. I mean, when you think about the impact that this one strategy has had on your business, Kim, what comes to mind?
I have so much momentum right now and actually and joy. It energizes me. I feel connected to my clients and having those conversations makes me feel like I'm making a difference and like I have an impact. And so it feeds itself because it fuels me and it makes me love my job even more, or the business more. And also when I have a conversation with them, I do conclude with, hey, good people know other good people. Always, always. I say good people know other good people. I wish all my clients were like you. So if you have any friends who are thinking about buying or refinancing a home, can I count on you to let me know? Because I would love to be a resource for them, just like I am for you, and someone that they can trust and talk to. And I'm not going to have a hidden agenda. I want to take care of your friends and family, just like I take care of you. And that is how, that's the heart of the referral business, is that you have to ask for the business. You have to let them know I'm here to receive. Like I want to take care of your friends and family.
That's such a cool way of asking for a referral. I've never heard that before, and I love it. And I think that there's a lot of value in that line itself. Okay, so as we wrap it up here, Kim, I know that you're willing to share. You are not holding all your secrets to yourself. So if people listening to this want to know more about your annual review campaign and how they can set up something similar, how should they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can find me on socials. It's Kim with a Y, KYM Mason, and I'm with the Mason Group. And so please, I would love to share. I have a template. It's not complicated. I'm happy to share it. And then I update it each year. And now I have chat. So that makes it AI makes it pretty easy to update a template and put it in your own voice. And I'm happy to share. So reach out on socials, DM me, and I'll send it to you.
It's very gracious of you. And we appreciate you joining us and sharing this great conversation. Kim Mason with the Mason Group, part of Summit Lending. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Justin.
Thank you for watching Good Better Broker and helping us support independent mortgage brokers everywhere. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified about new videos, as well as your preferred podcast platform for a new episode every other Tuesday.